I just want to make sure everybody who cares about baseball in Philadelphia has a cable subscription.
Right.
What a digression.
Look out for number one.
This is an all-time great digression on this podcast, because this is all related to whether or not AirPods look silly with or without wires.
I was trying to remember how we got into this, and I couldn't.
I'm usually the first one to forget how a digression started, but I've somehow still had this in mind, and I've been trying to tie it together with some kind of joke about cord cutters, cable cutters. What do they call them?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, right. Yeah, sure.
Because and I always wonder, like, is there anybody out there? I have always wondered this, and this is why I've been wanting to make this observation for 10 minutes now. Is, the way that AirPods have become this status symbol for some bizarre people, that you're somehow showing off if you have AirPods, and that it's a sign that you're cool or whatever, which is very alien to me. And I just wonder how many people, there's got to be some people who've done it. I mean, like teenagers or something who've just taken like the old AirPods and cut cords and then made it look like they have AirPods, which obviously wouldn't work at all. So they've just got them in there.
It's like Merlin holding his wallet up to his ear.
Pretty much, exactly. Except harder to tell, right? At least if you see Merlin holding his wallet up to his ear, if you really look at it, you're going to see that that's a wallet. Whereas,
well, you could really look. I mean, I think if you really look, you'd notice. I mean, you'd have to get really close, but
you'd have to get really uncomfortably close. What are you doing? Oh, sorry. I just wanted to see him.
I'm on the phone. No, you're not.
But could you imagine going up to somebody really close to their ear and they're like, what are you doing? And then you had to tell them, I just wanted to see if you really had AirPods or if you just cut the cords off an old pair of...
Well, so the new ones, it'll be easier to tell.
Yeah, they do look a little different.
Because they don't look anything... I mean, they look quite a bit not like the EarPods.
Yeah. Do you have AirPods?
Oh, yeah.
I saw
I have two. I still have my original ones, and I have the second generation.
One of the things that blew me away today was Dan Morin, a mutual friend, co-host of how many podcasts do you do with Dan?
I do 2.
That's a lot.
The Rebound and Biff.
Biff is the one you guys talk about superheroes.
Yes.
Is Guy English on that?
The Guy English is on, yes.
Yeah. I miss Guy English.
You just saw Guy English.
I did. That is true. He did come and go out to dinner with me and my wife about a week and a half ago. we had a delightful time. Took him to Hop Sing.
You've seen him more recently. I mean, I talk to him every week, but you've seen him more recently than I have.
Yeah, I took him to Hop Sing. He had a great time. What the hell? Now I've lost the thread.
But you're going to talk about Dan's weird ears.
Oh, yeah. Well, so Dan had been, he wrote today that he was really looking forward to the 3 sizes of little rubber tips because he heretofore had still not purchased AirPods, which I found very, but he made it. It's because he has unusual ears or something like that.
Well, so this is the thing about AirPods is that there's half the world thinks the other half's ears are weird, and the other half thinks that half's ears are weird because they either fit you or they don't fit you. Yeah. And they fit me great, and earbuds have always fit me really well.
Yeah,
and I've always liked earpods fine, as far as wired headphones go, and I'm not like super audio quality concerned. I'm only mildly audio quality concerned. And when I got AirPods, I was like, "This is perfect." But they don't work for him because his ears are different, and there's a lot of people like that.
Yeah, I know Marco Arment has never really been happy with any kind of...
it's just the way your ears are shaped.
Yeah. I remember when they debuted AirPods, I believe it was in the Johnny Ive narrated video that he talked about the fact that they spent some gazillion dollars, 3D modeling the inner shape of thousands of people's ears of multiple,
just not Dan's.
Women, men, and children, and young people and old people, and also as many ears as they could scan. They scanned them and tried to find the shape that would fit as many of them comfortably as possible. And I remember then getting them and then looking at them and looking at the old wired ones right next to them. And you get really, really close to them. I couldn't see a damn bit of difference in the shape of the thing that goes in your ear. But I know of several people. I can't name them off the top of my head, so call fake news if you want. But I maybe Jowkit, I forget. Daniel Jowkit, friend of the show. It could be somebody else, but I know a couple people who claim that the old wired ones never fit them right, would always be falling out, and that they therefore were terrified to buy AirPods because they assumed they would fall out as well. And when obviously AirPods falling out are A, more expensive, and B, they're wireless. They could
go anywhere,
right? Whereas a wired one falling out, well, it's still just dangling connected to the cord.
Yeah.
But who then tried AirPods like at an Apple store or something, and lo and behold, they actually fit. So there is some difference. I don't know. It's like somehow because it's just
a lot of people have
plastic.
speculated it is just the cord,
right?
But
that the cord actually weighs down the thing in your ear and pulls it out. But they claimed, I do remember Apple claiming that they 3D modeled it on some kind of to some kind of way to find a shape that fit as many ears as possible. But even so, that doesn't fit all ears.
Yeah. My concern is that Apple will now switch to this design, which I don't like, because I never like the ones that are like plugs in your ears.
Yeah.
I've had a number of those, and they've never worked well for me. And even when I get noise canceling ones, I have to get the over the ear style because I can't deal with those.
I had
so I much as they have gone to large phones against my wishes, I have a slight concern that they're going to go to earplug type AirPods instead.
I forget if they're noise canceling or not, or if it's just the fact that they plug your ear. But I think they were noise canceling. I had a pair of Shure in-ear.
Yeah, phones. I had those,
and maybe you got them when I
think they were noise canceling.
I think they were too, and I got them in the goodie bag for being a speaker at Macworld Expo.
I think that's where I got them too.
And
they were in the little round case.
Yeah, yep, and they were black.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, I think they were gray, but anyway, close. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Dark enough.
Whatever.
And I remember getting them, and there's all sorts of stuff in that goodie bag. It was really quite a racket. I mean, that was really.
That was the time. That was the brief moment in time that I caught that wave, and then it went away.
I mean, that shows how long ago it was, because Macworld Expo feels like I was a kid when I went to Macworld Expo.
You were.
But I went there. I did a couple of times I spoke. I remember the one time I did. It was a really good talk. It was and it was going to become like an annual tradition. It was like Gruber's List. It was like my top 10 issues surrounding Apple. I mean, and specific. I think number 2. I didn't want to make it number 1, but it was like because it just seemed too. I didn't know how to fit it in, so I think I put it at like number 2 or number 3. It was like Steve Jobs' health. That he's singularly important to the company.
Yeah.
Just so that that just tells you how long ago it was that it was not just when Steve Jobs was around, but when it was still sort of what if something happened to Steve Jobs? But anyway, the goodie bag included all this other, I don't know who knows how much other stuff, but they had these Shure earbuds, whatever you want to call them. They were noise canceling. And I was like, I'm not going to like those. I hate anything that goes in my ear, but I guess I'll try them. And I Googled, I was like, I wonder how much these are. I bet they're like $80 or $90. And I Googled them, and they were like $300 or something. I was like, holy hell, I better double check before I throw any of this stuff out. This is amazing. They were like $300 headphones. And I wound up loving them. I never liked things that go in my ear like that and that sealed up, but these Shures really did.
I tried those for a while and they didn't work well enough for me. So I gave them to Karen, and she enjoyed them, but it didn't work for me.
That was one of the ones, and I referenced it today, where I've had other. That was one of the ones I've had, but I had a few others in the years since, where there were earbuds that had multiple options for the rubber part that would go in your ear. And with the Shure ones, I was like, and the Shure ones weren't just 3 sizes; they were like you had
there's like 6 of them or something,
and they had their own case,
different types of material.
Yeah, different types of material, very different shapes. They even had there was a case for the headphones, and there was like a case for the extra nubbins or whatever you call them.
Yeah, right.
I just put the ones I was like, I don't even know where to start. This seems like a lot of work, and this is the sort of thing that's going to drive me nuts. This is where I'm not going to say I'm OCD, but this is where I'm on the spectrum of OCD. It's like indecisiveness, right? Like it's going to torment me for the rest of my life that I maybe picked the wrong ones. But I just put the default ones in my ear. I was like, these are more comfortable than I thought, and then I was like, these are really comfortable, and I kind of liked them, and so I never even tried the other ones because I was like, I was afraid to. But I used those as my airplane headphones for years and years and years, and really always enjoyed them. And I forget why I guess I gave them up. I gave them up to go wireless a couple years ago because It's a little known fact, but most people didn't notice, but the iPhone got rid of the headphone jack.
Are you sure? I think I would have read about that.
I am absolutely. You would have thought it would have been a bigger deal, but
I would have thought that would have been on the verge.
You'd think it would be. They're very, very consumer focused.
He's a very smart guy. He doesn't miss much. I would think that he would have written about it.
Well, as far as I know, he never commented. So I switched to wireless ones years ago, and I got a pair of the Bose over-the-ear ones. Anyway, I'm curious how these AirPods are going to work. I'm not as skeptical as I would have been if I hadn't had that very positive experience with the Shure for years and years. That I will like these. I don't know.
Well, and I think what's interesting about when you talked about the nubbins. So supposedly these will use sound to figure out if you're wearing the right.
Yeah, that's what Dan linked
nubbins.
to. Yeah, so there's some kind of way in software. I don't know where this is. I guess it's in. It's probably one of those things, I'm sure, that'll be iOS only and won't make it to the Mac. But I guess in settings somewhere, there'll be some kind of way that you can... it's unclear. I guess I'll find out tomorrow when I go up for this media briefing. So there's a test, but how do you get to it? Is it in the settings app? Do you just
ear tip fit test?
Ear tip fit test. That sounds like one of those things that you say, like a tongue twister to get ready to go on a podcast. Ear tip fit test.
It's pluralized. Ears tip.
Fit test. Goddamn plurals. This would all be so much easier if we as a species only had one ear.
Right in the front of our head.
Yeah, right in the forehead, right? That's the obvious.
It would have to be.
Right. Yeah, because everything else is taken, right? We only have one mouth, right?
Well, maybe we would have two mouths if we only had one ear.
Yeah, there's probably a planet somewhere where everybody has all the species, their equivalent of mammals. Everybody has two mouths, because what happens if you get a toothache into one mouth? Well, you have your other mouth to keep going.
Star Trek always went like crazy. I always thought they were really going all out on designing an alien when they would put like nostrils someplace other than where a human nostril would be. It's like all the aliens were just people with bumpy foreheads,
right.
But then occasionally they'd put like nostrils, like in between the eyebrows or something.
Yeah. No, totally. Yeah, or up on the forehead. Like, what if instead of making a ridged forehead, we put a nose up there?
It would be another mouth or an ear up there. Yeah. They never call me.
Are you looking forward to the Picard?
Full of ideas.
What?
Looking forward to what?
The Picard.
I am.
Oh man, talk about digression.
How can I not?
Christ. Here's the next hour of this show. All right, hold that thought. Let me tell you about our next sponsor. It's our good friends. It's another classic. We're going deep in the classic sponsors of the talk show. Fracture. Look, everybody takes and shares photos online, but very few of those photos end up printed, and even fewer end up on display. You can focus on the moments that mean the most in your life by turning your favorite digital memories into a meaningful photo decor. Fracture prints are made by printing directly on glass. So you send them your photo, you sign up. They don't print them on paper and then glue the paper to a piece of glass or something like that. They literally have some kind of Moonman technology that prints full color, very vivid, totally solid. It's not like, like stained glass where you can see through it. Solid print right on the piece of glass. It looks amazing. It looks fantastic. It looks better than any printed on paper behind a piece of glass print that I've ever seen. Super high quality. It makes it look like it's right on the surface. And they ship them in a way that the entire piece of glass, edge to edge, corner to corner, you don't need to put it in a frame. It doesn't have a frame. It's just a piece of glass that you can hang on the wall, and everything you need to hang it comes in the box package that ships to you from Fracture right there. So if you want to hang it on the wall or put it on your mantle, prop it up on your desk or something like that, everything you need to do like that is all in the box. It's all included. And you just get this amazing edge to edge display with no border, no frame. All you see is the photograph. It is a fantastic effect. It goes with any decor. People notice it when you have Fracture prints hanging in your house. People who don't listen to my podcast and haven't heard about Fracture before, they will comment. They'll come up and they'll say, "What is that? How did you make that picture?" And then they think maybe because you're a clever computer person who listens to shows like this, they might think that you know some kind of trick that they can't do. Turns out all you did is go to Fracture and send them pictures right from your phone. Anybody could do it. Super easy. They're a green company operating a carbon neutral factory right down in Florida, Gainesville, Florida. You can go to fracture.me. That's their website. You get a special discount on your first order. And don't forget to pick the name of this show, The Talk Show, in their 1-question survey after checkout where they ask, where'd you hear of Fracture? Just tell them you heard about it on The Talk Show. Fantastic gift idea, by the way. It's late October. I'm not going to tell you to put up your Christmas decorations. Halloween hasn't even happened yet, technically. But it's getting close. Fantastic. It's the greatest gift idea. Think of every single person in your family who would like to see pictures of you or your kids or your pets or even just trips that you've took together or something like that. Anybody who you could give a picture to. Send them a Fracture for the holidays. Oh, it's the easiest thing in the world. And it's my favorite thing about sending Fractures as a gift idea is as long as you keep taking more pictures next year, you can do it again and again. You could be the guy or the gal who that's your thing every Christmas is you give, your parents or your grandparents or whoever it is, give them a picture every year, something like that. You can just do it over and over again and people won't get tired of it. Fantastic gift idea. Go ahead and do it now. Get it out of the way because they get into December and they get backlogged behind Christmas and the other holidays. So don't forget to go to fracture.me and don't forget to tell them you came from the Talk Show. I love that company. I could talk about them forever.
They have great, very friendly customer support.
They really do. They're very friendly people. And
because I wanted to make sure that they could do a black and white. So I contacted them and she did not call me dummy, but she could have easily because it was right there on the website. But she pointed me to the section where they had examples of black and white.
It's not the most ridiculous question, but it generally is. It's sort of like if you buy a color television, can you watch a black and white movie? It's black and white are two of the colors in the spectrum.
See, now you're saying dummy.
Yeah, I guess I am.
That's fair.
So what were we talking about? We were going to go off on a terrific aside there.
Picard?
Picard.
You want to talk about Picard?
Well, you know who the showrunner is.
We should maybe talk about the reviews for Apple TV Plus.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's save that. Let's file those away for the third segment of the show. Wait, let's stick to AirPods for now. AirPods Pro. One color, you can get them whatever color you want. White, rumored to have come in black and midnight green, just like the other phones. Didn't come in that. Why do you think they don't make colored iPods? My theory, as I espoused on my website earlier today, is that they sort of see them as a branding thing, that there's sort of an iconic look that dates back to the ad campaign for iPods that lasted for years and years. Those silhouette of people listening to music and dancing. It was a very long-running ad campaign. And I feel like today's AirPods still sort of carry on that, you see people walking down the street wearing white things sticking out of their ears, and you just know they're AirPods. And that would be diluted. Even if they just added one more color like black, it would dilute that to some degree. Yeah.
Even though other companies for years have made white wired headphones, and other companies now make white knockoff AirPods, basically.
Right.
It reminds you of Apple.
Yeah.
Even if you're seeing someone who's not actually wearing their headphones.
Yeah, and for some reason, nobody's really come out with AirPods that really look like AirPods, where it's, like the Google ones or look like...
no name brand, yeah.
Yeah, no name brand has really come out with anything that really follows that rod sticking out of a thing pointing down design. There's, all sorts of different designs that people have come out with for their wireless earbuds, but nobody's really copied that yet. Whether they did it out of, deference, like pride, like we're not going to copy this iconic design, or whether there's some kind of technical reason that Apple has, an ability to make them like that and put the battery in that little rod that others technically haven't been able to copy. I don't know, but
I would think the battery technology would be hard to, for a regular company to duplicate anyway. Maybe the major companies could probably do it. Yeah. But.
And maybe it's just too shameless. I don't know. If Samsung Galaxy Note 11 came out with iPod.
Never bothered them before.
That's what I think. I was like, I'm just kind of Samsung is my whole segment here. I've been thinking about Samsung. Why hasn't Samsung made something that looks as much like AirPods as they possibly can? I don't know. But it kind of sucks if you think about it that way, though, in a way, because it's sort of like they're not white and only white for our benefit. It's sort of for Apple's benefit as a branding thing.
Yeah, right.
So for the people who, wish that they made black ones, sort of sucks.
And I assume, we think that there will be AR glasses coming sometime. And I would assume that because that is something that is more front and center on the face, that it would, assuming that these things are real,
right, that
they would be more fashion.
Well, look at what they've done with the watch,
and you'd be able, but still, I'm trying to think of how they would look so that you can still make them your own statement, and then it would also say, "Hey, these are from Apple."
It's a fact. I can, and that's a product that we know is in the works, but so far has no leaks of hardware.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been thinking about that too, because I know there was a rumor. I think it was Ming-Chi Kuo. All the rumors are Ming-Chi Kuo, really.
Well, all the good ones. Right?
Oh yeah, all the ones from the supply chain. But he came out a week or two ago, and said, yeah, the glasses or goggles or whatever the hell they are coming out. He has no idea what they look like, and I find stuff like that fascinating. That he's confident enough in his source that he's willing to put his reputation on the line by saying definitively that Apple's currently planning to come out with them in 2020, but has no idea really what they look like or what they do. Really. But I've been thinking about that. Like, and this is a good aside, really, because it's like there's different ways to do glasses. Like the biggest.
Yeah, that's it. There's a vast variety of glasses.
Well, and the biggest thing would be, is this something you're supposed to wear all day?